listening to the Shite Talk podcast show. Shut up and sit down.
Welcome once again to the Shite Talk podcast show. Mark and Ken.
What's the crack?
On episode 245 of the Shite Talk podcast show.
Ish.
Yes, we are halfway to 475.
No.
No? No, it wouldn't be, wouldn't it? 45 would be 8, it would be 90, wouldn't it? Yeah. 490. I don't even know what I was thinking of. Would
Yeah,
it be
good job.
35, would it be?
Probably 35.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah. Matt's is still as strong as ever, Ken, as you can see.
Oh yeah, lovely maths.
How has your week this week been?
Grand,
Brad?
I think.
Yeah?
Okay.
I had a car accident.
Yeah,
So
so that was
mine wasn't grand. Now I have to mind this new the rental car like it's like a newborn baby that you can't drop on the ground. As they go.
Who says you can't drop them?
They're very resilient.
More so than you think.
They like falling. It learns. You learn from falling. Pain is a great teacher. I didn't do the typical thing where you walk around and you check to see if any marks are on the cars, and then I got back and I was like, "Oh, there was a bit of a scratch at the door thing. Should I really have pointed that out?" And my dad's like, "Yeah, you really should have." But they just washed the car. It was like a dark grey car as well. So any scratches like that, they said like it would be pretty hard to see. So I was just like, "That's a little dirty trick right there." I didn't check it anyway, so even if it was a dirty trick, I was like, "Oh yeah, cheers, thanks to the car."
Bye.
Exactly. I thought I was going to get like a Fabia or something like that.
Usually, it's usually a car that's like similar in quality or whatever to your own car, isn't it?
This is like a 221, and it's like a Jeep, it's a brand new Jeep, and I drive a Fiesta. I had to keep ringing them they're like, we still don't have cars, and I was like, "You're a car rental company. You're all over the entire country. You have advertisements on the radio. How have you ran out of cars?" But then I remembered during the pandemic they were selling an awful lot of their cars, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that was a great idea, wasn't it?" Because now you don't have any cars. So that was my week. I thought it was yeah. Anyway, nobody was hurt. I think that was the most important thing. Cars getting fixed, and yeah. So we had also an interesting week in stories. We're pretty late to the whole releasing this. This is probably the latest we've ever left it without just skipping a week. So
Yeah.
we're recording this on Sunday. We usually record on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we will try to get out on a Sunday. I'll try. Ken has kids dropping the ground apparently. Just watching them fall from to see if they bounce. Does it bounce or drop this time? But yeah, we'll try to get out today. So you get your podcast this week and you don't miss a week. You don't wake up Monday morning going, Shite Talk. Well, maybe people will like that, Ken. I think people would like that. Get their podcast out.
Get out, get it done.
Yeah. I don't have my phone on me. I would have played the same song that's been stuck in my head all the time. I heard it. It was just about 30 seconds of it. It is arguably the greatest ever football song ever created. Like,
Right.
it's about Zinedine Zidane. And
Okay.
it was 5 years old, so I'm very late to this party. This is not new at all. But if you search Zinedine Zidane song, oh my god, you will not be disappointed. It's like a real kind of naughty's Euro dance trash, kind of music in the background of it, and it just lists off all the great players like in history, and it's like but they're all not as good as Zinedine Zidane. And they go into singing like that. And it has like kind of that thing. It is amazing.
Yeah, it sounds it.
I'm really selling it, am I?
You're really, really sound it.
Yeah, apparently Noel Gallagher wasn't selling it when he made some remarks about the disabled community, and a disabled charity has branded him vile over his comments about that. So we'll be going into it. I was nearly about to label this as an idiot of the week. I'll get Ken's kind of thoughts on the whole thing later on. We'll also be talking, before I will be talking about a woman with a weird habit that she was trying to hide from her husband, and she didn't want to tell him what it was. And the fact that it was her husband or was it her boyfriend?
It is her boyfriend.
Boyfriend, okay. Because I was going to say, if you get to the point where you're married to a person and you're finding out something new and weird about that person, Jesus, that was hid quite well.
I'd say this must have been hid quite well too, because we'll get into it.
We'll get into it anyway. Over the thing, did you have any weird habits that you kind of hid from Aideen?
No, I don't think so.
I had loads. I basically didn't kept everything a secret.
That doesn't surprise me.
It's for the best. It's only like it's better off you. Well,
the whole washing from the bottom up thing.
Yeah. She might have found that a lot earlier. But yeah, she was like a mad dog lover. She, as I talk about her, she's no longer with us. R.I.P. Yeah, Linda would be like a mad dog lover, so I hid that I hated animals from her for a good few months. And my parents are like, "Oh, what?
Don't you own 2 dogs?"
Yeah.
Like,
doesn't mean I stop hate. And a goldfish.
And a goldfish.
Frank. Don't worry, I don't feed it. There's lots of suffers swimming around there. Eat your poo, Frank. Who cares if you're 3?
And fuck you, Frank.
My sister used to have a goldfish, and she neglected it, and it lived forever. But our oldest sister felt pity on it and kept feeding it. But like, she didn't clean the water to do anything, and it just survived so much longer. I think neglect in terms of goldfish, unlike kids, is what you should do if you have a goldfish, kids.
Like, goldfish will grow as big. Did you know this? Goldfish will grow as big as their environment allows them.
Yeah, I was working with a guy, and like that he got his kids some goldfish, and like that he was saying that to me. He even said like he thought it had died, but it had just swallowed a stone. But he was able to like save it by pushing out, like basically do like CPR with his fingers to it and getting the stone out, and basically start flopping around again. And he was able to throw back in the pond or into the thing. But like, yeah, he's saying like it'll grow like to basically his environment.
Yeah, it's mad.
I wonder if humans are like that. Like, if you have a person and they grow up in like an apartment with a very low ceiling, would they grow smaller or just genetics kick in?
I don't think that happened.
Like, how many successful basketball players came from a very small house?
Probably a few.
Probably a good few. A lot of like successful sports stars come from poor families.
Yeah, so I'd say quite a few.
Yeah, I think genetics override if you have a shitty house. But like, you know, Michael Jordan, talking about successful basketball players.
Yeah.
He was abnormally tall for his family. So if you look through his family tree, they're all short arses. But there was one there was like uncle, like very distant uncle that was tall, or a grandparent that was tall, and he must have just like one in a million shot of getting his grandparents' tall genes, but everyone else in his family were tiny. So his sons, you'd imagine, would be tall like he is, but all of his sons are quite short.
Short arses.
Yeah, they're all short arses like the rest of their family. He's just like odd.
Freak.
Yeah, he's just he shouldn't have been that tall because like it isn't in his family really genes. If you look at it, he's just the kind of like big one out of the litter. But yeah, none of his sons were ever as tall or good at basketball. I think one of them made it to the NBA though. Well, I think it was more off the back of I'm Michael Jordan's son.
It usually is.
I was watching Mick Schumacher actually talking about following father's footsteps there on my phone while I was meant to be doing research. He's actually a solid driver.
Is he?
Yeah, he's not his dad. His dad is still far better than what he was. But yeah, different eras and all that. But like, yeah, still solid.
I'm never big into Formula One.
Yeah, it's really weird because my dad was back in the kind of late 90s, early 90s. My dad was huge kind of Formula One fan. Well, he used to watch every Sunday. So we all would have been forced to watch it as well. So I actually ended up starting to like it, and then I went off it around 2011. I kind of got back in it when Michael Schumacher was coming out of retirement. I said, "Oh, I'll follow it this season. Kind of interesting to see what he does." And so I started following him just to see Michael Schumacher race. And if you don't really follow Formula One, they vary from different times. It starts at like some of the races start at 6:30 in the morning, and by the time it actually finishes, it's like near 11 or 12. And then if you throw in the champagne ceremony, it's like closer to 1 o'clock before the time you get up off the couch. And I used to wake up at 6:30 after a night out, get in my friend's house, get up, plug a TV in, find the Formula One channel, and start watching Formula One from 6:30. Someone used to say it used to wake them up. They could hear that they'd hear on from like 7 o'clock in the morning, and they kind of know Mark's up watching Formula One. But the time they actually got up, the race was still on, and I used to force them to watch the race, and they're like, "Oh, it's over," and I was like, "No, you have to wait to watch the champagne ceremony. It's the best part." I used to force them to watch until the champagne ceremony. So they're all dying of a hangover. Going, "Please, Mark, please let us turn this off." And it's so weird now because of the fucking Netflix documentary. They're all into Formula One. They're all like mad into Formula One, talking about like different race drivers, and I'm like, this is so surreal. Like if I ever mentioned a few years ago Formula One, people would just roll their eyes. If there was a party in my house during the day and I turn on Formula One, people were like, "Seriously, Mark, yeah, do you have to watch this now?" I was like, "Yeah, I do." But I haven't followed it as closely since it got really popular. But now I just have a load of people start talking to me about Formula One, and I was like, this is just so surreal that it's got this popular based off a Netflix series.
Yeah, it's mad what Netflix is doing for things.
Yeah, there's a weird. I kind of blame Netflix on this as well. Me getting into or downloading at least the NBA game, watching NBA, and start becoming a fan of it. I'm not a fan. It's very loosely follow it, but it happened with football as well during the pandemic, because I was in training and I was talking to one of the lads, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to shoot on home early. There's a match on I want to watch." And you're like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I want to watch this match. And he goes, that's weird. I've like in all the years I know you, I've never heard you ever mention you follow football. I was like, oh, during the pandemic, I downloaded FIFA. I now follow this dude, so I'm going home to watch this game. And they're like, what has the pandemic done to you? So I think I started by watching like it was like an Sunderland Till You Die. It was a documentary by Sunderland Football Club. And then I started watching another one about, like, it was a one about sports stars, but I think they follow Spurs on Amazon. But then there's also one about All Blacks. And I was like, Jesus, why am I download FIFA? I used to like playing that with my friends every now and again. So download FIFA, and then that was it. I was like, okay, I follow football now. And basketball, very loosely. So I pointed where my dad's like, you should go to a match. I was like, I might go to a match.
Don't tell me what to do.
I'm going to get this tattoo, and I'm singing Zin Zin Zazan, saying this is a great song. Look all. Yeah, what do you make of Boris Johnson leaving as Prime Minister?
Well, it depends who replaces him.
Yeah. I quite like him. People are all giving out about him. I quite enjoyed Boris Johnson.
I don't like him at all.
Oh, I just think he's hilarious. Like, I wouldn't want him running my country. God, no. But as a person to watch just implode on TV, especially as the British Prime Minister, he's endless in fascination.
He's like an English Donald Trump.
Yeah, like, I was listening to the radio and someone described him as both Donald Trump and Boris Johnson are like caricatures of their environment, of where they're reared. There's to the 10th degree of them. So, like, Donald Trump was born and kind of reared in New York City, and it's just like it's like a typical Manhattan-born New Yorker, loud, brash, like arrogant. But he's just to that to the 10th degree. So you get like subtle hints of that in New York. However, Donald Trump's that to the 10th degree. And I think same with Boris Johnson. He private school educated, trust fund sort. Thinks he doesn't have to obey the law. It's better than other people because he came from wealth. Doesn't have to hold himself to the same standards. So he expects other people to the 10th degree. Like, so he comes from that kind of aristocrat, kind of like British, kind of, there's a word off it, but I can't think of it. Basically, posh wanker. But he's to that to the 10th degree. He's a really animated version of those people. But what's hilarious is, I think Boris is a little bit more self-aware. Like, he's kind of aware that he's a bit of a caricature of himself, and he plays into it a bit at times. Whereas I think Donald Trump's unaware that he's this like really animated version of a kind of like New Yorker. He's just like, no, this is how everyone is. I'm just great.
I'm just
amazing. This is. I did a great job. I genuinely believe he thought he did a great job of being president of America. He said, I did amazing. I don't know why people didn't vote for me. Have to be rigged. That's the only way around it.
It's definitely rigged.
Yeah. So like, but like, as a person who runs our country, I wouldn't want him. But as him running England into the ground, yeah, it's pretty interesting. Found it very, very amusing. But a guy like a few of the kind of candidates like aren't great. I can't actually think a lot of their names because I don't want to start naming one. I was going to say a guy, and then I realized he was a radio host on LBC, and it's like he's not actually elected. Nick Ferrari is a presenter of LBC. So I'm just going to drop that because I don't know English politics well enough to start going, well, he'll be shite.
Yeah, British politics is it's complicated.
Yeah, it's
like,
weird.
I don't really understand it very much.
I don't understand it either.
It's too much like fucking formality in it.
Yeah, like England loves a bit of pomps and circumstances. Like they love a little bit kind of like royal snobbery and classism. Whereas it's like us Irish people, that's any classism like is just seen as disgusting, as like it turns our stomach. So like we don't really understand this kind of like aristocratic kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of like just fucking shite.
Yeah. So we'll move on to a woman with weird habit. Yeah, which we were talking about. You haven't told me what it is. I said I used to bottle up all my weird habits and keep them for as long as I possible away from people who knows me.
Like, I don't know why these people always do this. So this guy took to Reddit because
yeah, it's a weird thing. Like when people take to like last guy took to Twitter, which I kind of can get. I guess you feel like you have a community on Twitter or whatever. But Reddit's a weird one. Yeah.
All right, so this guy went on to Reddit to tell people his situation. So him and his girlfriend had been out with her cousin, and her cousin like kind of brought up something that she used to do as a child, and was like, "Oh, remember you used to do this?" And it was just she used to chew on her old dirty socks.
Oh.
Right, so like, like the cousin was like, "Oh, I remember you used to do this," ha 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 ha. And then she got kind of tick about it. And then the boyfriend later was like, well, what was the crack with that? Like, why used you do that? And she didn't want to talk about it. She just avoided it. And he woke up then in the middle of the night recently and found her chewing on a pair of socks. And she's refusing to talk about it.
She's like
she said to him, he asked her, he maybe has a point. He said, like, if I give you a kiss, like, I want to know, like, you have dirty socks, like, in your fucking mouth, like. And she just said to him, if you keep
if she was sucking his dick, would he refuse to, like, give her a kiss after before rinse your mouth out there, love. You just had my dick.
Yeah, he'd make her go brush her teeth. But
imagine.
She said to him that if he keeps bringing up the sock thing, she's going to bring up something that he doesn't want to talk about.
And what's his thing?
He doesn't have a thing. He's just like I just want to know what the fucking story is.
And she was like, well, if we want to talk about this, what about your dirty habits? And he's like, what dirty habits?
Yeah, like, so she just won't talk about it. And he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, maybe it brought back, like, maybe she hadn't like chewed on a sock for ages, but her cousin had brought it up. Like, it had this like repressed memory, and she woke up in the middle of the night and just couldn't help herself reaching for the floor and getting like a like a dog, a chewy sock. Crusty, chewy sock, and just having a bit of a crunch on it and sucking out all the salty, delicious juice.
Oh, sick.
Smelling that kind of cheesy, musty stench off your full.
Sounds like something you've been up to.
Yeah, no. Quickly moving on. What's the next? I guess, yeah, like, there must be, like, I've heard of people, like, keep nails, like, toenails in a jar, well, like, stuff like that, and eating them years ago as a kind of a weird habit.
Yeah, like, ugh.
But, like, I'm sure there's stuff that we all do that we think is completely normal, like washing yourself from the bottom up, that when someone sees you doing it, or you talk about doing it in public, they go, what? And apparently you're the weirdo. Apparently what you're doing is wrong, and what everyone else is doing is right, and you just don't want to change. So I kind of feel like this was her washing from the bottom up thing, where she's like, okay, she probably knew it was a little bit weird, but she just kind of liked the feel of a sock in her mouth. I wonder if this is like a kind of a lapse from sucking a dodie or something like that. I remember, or sucking your thumb.
Maybe.
To stop you sucking your thumb, your parents used to put this like varnish on your nails.
I used to like the taste of that stuff.
So it didn't stop you.
Yeah, it used to actually make it worse.
Oh God, yeah. I could actually kind of, when I remember, I could see why people liked it. I didn't like it, but I kind of got why people might got a kick off and going, actually, it's actually right nice.
Yeah, I used to be like, this is actually all right. Like what's the bad thing here?
Yeah, my sister ate something that she shouldn't have, and my parents gave her salt water to like make her get sick, but she couldn't like the taste, and they're like, "Oh, can I have some more of that?"
Have more salt water, please.
Yeah, give me some more salt water. This won't be bad for you. Yeah, so like she was like, "Yeah, thanks more." I don't know why she thought like giving her that would. Yeah, like I can't think of any other weird kind of things that I do. Do you have any, or Aideen? Do you want to out Aideen's weird habits on the podcast, Ken?
I don't think there is any.
Yeah, I probably do. Do you know? I probably do have weird habits. There
It probably is so. I just can't think of anything that would be like.
We probably don't think they're weird. That's the thing. Like we probably are going around oblivious that we're complete and absolute weirdos for doing these things. You know, it's one thing that people do. It's more of a food thing, and I think this is another thing that people have, and they keep a bottle up, or they don't keep a bottle up. They don't know it's weird, but sometimes I have mayonnaise with tuna. I'll have red sauce as well and mix it in, and it's really nice. Kind of gives like a sweety, kind of bitter kind of taste off the tuna. But someone's seen me doing this before, and they nearly threw up. They're like, "Jesus, what the fuck did you do that?" Because they wanted some of the tuna, and I was making it oblivious. I was like, "Here, you have to try it. It's better. It's better than just mayonnaise on its own." And they would refuse to eat it, and they're like, "No, that is absolutely vile. I'll starve."
I don't know. You're a strange man, Mark.
Yeah, so like that's the only other thing off the top of my head. Like if I think of any, we'll post them up on Instagram. For more of our disgusting habits, tune into Instagrams. Just search Shite Talk Podcast Show. You'll eventually find us.
Yeah, hopefully, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
Noel Gallagher has got himself in a little bit of hot water.
Not you there.
Yeah, it's a disabled charity brands him as vile over his Glastonbury comments. And when I first read this story, I was kind of like, is Noel an idiot of the week for this? Like, is this kind of falling into idiot of the week territory? I kind of left him off this, but like I kind of feel like I found this kind of funny, and I can see him telling the story, like off a podcast just to his mates. You're gonna laugh along with it, but this isn't to your mate. You're on a podcast that's probably been listened to thousands of people, and stuff that you say generally gets picked up by me anyway. So if you say something offensive, that's going to attract a lot of heat. But Noel and his brother Liam have made a fucking their careers about picking fights with fucking artists and creating drama to get attention. It's kind of what they do.
Yeah.
So what happened at Glastonbury? He was playing. I don't know. It said I don't know what the set list was for Glastonbury. I know Paul McCartney headlined it. He played like a 3-hour or 4-hour kind of set at Glastonbury for a person who's into his 70s at the stage. It was incredible. They said Noel's playing on the pyramid stage, which is like the main stage, I think. And they said, first of all, they said he was basically the one before Paul McCartney, which like I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's not really about stage, but basically Noel wanted to watch Jamie T, which I imagined then it wasn't. He wasn't the one after that. He was probably earlier on in the day. He wanted to watch Jamie T perform and a few other acts. And So basically, he wandered up to the stage, but he's too fucking drunk to actually stay on stage. And they're like, no, fuck off. Because he probably thought he was a hazard, him running on, like, kind of dad at a wedding party, giving Jamie T a hug, going, oh, great set, you're doing great, my son. Oh, hey, Mick, how are things? Going around the whole band, or like, hey, no, or kind of middle of, like, a lot of people here want to hear, like, Zombie.
People hear Zombie.
Well, isn't that their song? That big song,
Yes.
Jamie T, it's like Zombie. Sticks and Stones, maybe. Let us get through this set. So he wasn't allowed on stage. So he wandered up to a security guard and flashed his pass and wanted to get onto this into this spot. He said he didn't know it was a disabled spot for people at the festival, and your man was hesitant to let him in. So he flashed his all access badge, and he probably made a comment saying it says all access, like means I can go anywhere. And your man goes, well, fair enough. And you're Noel Gallagher, so I'm not gonna pick a fight with you. Let you go in. So him and a group of his friends, I think he didn't say how much it was, but a group of his friends sat and watched Glastonbury from a disabled area, an area that's reserved for basically people in wheelchairs who can watch a gig without being impeded. So, like, I guess, like, if that was the only thing in the story, I would say, well, he could have generally not known it was for disabled people, and there weren't anybody in it. It wasn't like, oh, it was all full, or he was like standing in front of a person in a wheelchair and like blocking their view. But like he said, him and his friends were pissed, and he went in. They were wasted, and they didn't actually know it was a disabled spot. There was nobody in there at the time, and Noel said it was probably better off. He was on the Matt Morgan podcast when he was telling this story, which I think was his biggest downfall. And he joked saying that if there was a person in a wheelchair, he probably would have tipped them out and just allow his son sit down and watch the gig. He said he probably then made another joke saying that he would have touched him on the forehead and said, rise, you can walk, to a person who was in a wheelchair, and then saying, like, those wheelchair cats get a really good view of the stage at Glastonbury. And that's what the big whole outrage was.
He's taking the piss.
Do you think so?
Yeah, he's not being serious.
Yeah, like, exactly. Yeah, okay. I thought you were like the bad taking the piss. Like, yeah, like he was just making jokes about like what he would do. Like, we've all made jokes like that, and I imagine if there was a person at Glastonbury or a person who is in a wheelchair, they're gonna be like, oh, I was really offended.
But even if there was a person in a wheelchair in that spot, they probably would have like posted a photo on Facebook saying, I met.
I know, exactly. Like, if I was in a wheelchair and Noel Gallagher wanders into the stable area, I'd be like, I got to spend a gig with Noel Gallagher, and he was just making jokes about me not being able to walk. That I had the time of my life. That was great. He kept touching me on the forehead and saying, rise, my son, you can walk.
But I don't think he actually would have done that.
I know, like, exactly. There's a difference about making jokes about like throwing a person in a wheelchair out of a wheelchair and getting your son to sit down, and actually throwing a person out of it. They're two completely different things.
Like, people just take things too seriously.
Yeah, like I just think he's on a podcast. He's trying to be funny. He's trying to and he's just kind of said this without thinking about it. Now, Liam hasn't missed an opportunity to come out and apologise on behalf of his brother for his comments, saying that they were disgraceful.
On behalf of his brother.
Yeah, who they both don't get on with each other. So, like, this is just Liam going, oh, I'm just going to rub a bit of salt into the wounds here. Yeah, here's a bit of a vile cunt up my brother. Broke up our band as well.
Yeah, bastard.
Oh, bastard. Yeah, and my favorite guitar. Smashed my favorite guitar.
Again, bastard.
Yeah, so I just like, I thought the comments about like touching it, like I just like it seems like a caricature, like we were talking about, like that. It seems like if someone was to do a caricature of a skit of Noel Gallagher at a stage, or a rock star, a British rock star at Glastonbury, watching it from a disabled thing, what they would do would be like touching on a kid on the forehead and going, "Rise, my son," like sitting on their lap, going, "Oh yeah, this is pretty good, comfy seat there."
Yeah, I like this seat. I'm
Um,
going to just sit here for a bit.
Yeah, like I don't think he's vile from this comments. I don't know. I think people are all a little bit soft.
It's soft.
Yeah, it's like, but like then again, like Noel and Liam have both made history about saying controversial things. Whole picking a fight with Blur. I remember even then a few years ago, he started saying like, "Your man from Arctic Monkeys has absolutely no personality."
Like, there's a thing with them where they're like, they just do and say things for attention.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the industry that they're in. They're in the entertainment industry. They need to be kind of fucking kept out there the whole time. They
they kind of need to keep themselves relevant.
yeah, they're gonna say shit.
Yeah, so for our generation, like Oasis are like a huge band. Like they have a huge following. If you're a fan of Oasis, you're going to go see Noel and Liam when they're here. But for the next generation, like I don't know how many people who didn't grow up with Oasis would still listen to their music. Like,
Yeah,
would we have
Oasis at all?
What?
I actually don't like them at all.
Yeah, like they are kind of a band like that. Like, there's a lot of people who wouldn't like their music, don't get the big fuss about Oasis, but then there's people who think they're the greatest rock band of all time. Like, I've had like arguments with like lads saying that they're the greatest rock band in the last 20 years, they're the biggest rock band, or their last big rock band in the last 20 years. And like, what are you talking about? There's Foo Fighters. there's a lot more like current successful bands out there that are bigger than them. They're like, no, they're not proper rock stars. They're not proper. I was like, Dave Grohl's a proper rock star.
The fucking Oasis weren't proper rock stars.
Well, according to their fans, they were.
Yeah, they're not proper rock stars going around fucking mounting at people when there's a fucking security guard to hold you back.
Yeah.
What you want to do is you want to do the fucking Axl Rose thing where you dive into the fucking crowd and you start punching people in the face. That's a rock star.
Yeah, or Dave Navarra when he throws his guitar up, not Dave Navarra, whoever the bassist is of Nirvana, and headbutts his face.
Yeah,
that's catches with his face while Kurt Cobain goes, "Hey Axel, hey Axel," or plays the opening lyrics to "Rape Me" when they're told under strict instructions not to play that song. That's a rock band.
Yeah, they're not fucking Oasis. Fuck off, Oasis.
Yeah, like I think people buy into the image that they portray of themselves, of this like kind of drinking, drugs, kind of partying lifestyle. But like, it's like there's plenty of bands that still left that currently do that and have failing livers.
Yeah, yeah.
U2, that's a proper rock band.
U2, yeah, don't even get started on U2.
Ken, I think we might have a saving grace for you.
Right, go on.
Do you suffer from bad hangovers?
Not particularly.
Oh, you lucky bastard! I'm getting worse. Sometimes like I'll have maybe a glass or a pint of Guinness or a glass of whiskey, and I'll wake up feeling a little bit groggy. But generally, if I'm out drinking, I wake up in the horrors. I'm like usually the worst person who's hungover of the group constantly, and I'm just like walking around in bits for that whole day. However, there's a hangover pill being created. They finally found the cure to the hangover.
What's the cure to the hangover?
No, it's an actual pill that you just take before you go to bed the next day. Now, I think you have to take it before you start drinking, actually. So, so before you go out and you're meant to take this, and it's meant to make you wake up feeling refreshed and energetic. It's also meant to boost your immune system. And it reminds me kind of a thing that used to be out years ago called milk thistle.
It's called what?
It's called milk thistle. And it used to do this, like, the idea of it was it would protect your liver. And this was the whole idea. So you take it before you go out drinking. This like tiny little tablet, and all of us described to me as it would just protect your liver. And I didn't really buy into it, but I went out one night and I didn't get a hangover, and I was like, this thing works. But I think I've taken it before, and I have woken up with hangovers before. So I wonder if it's similar, this kind of milk thistle thing. It's only £1 though, this pill. And you buy a pack of 30 for £30, so you get 30 pills. It works for up to 12 hours. Way it works, this is a sciencey bit. It breaks down alcohol in the gut before it reaches the liver, but it doesn't stop you from getting drunk, which is probably the most important thing. Which I think is a little bit fuckery here. So it's saying that one pill can stop you from getting a hangover. But in the trials, what they did was it was revealed after they swallowed 2 pills and drank 2 glasses of wine, they had 70% less alcohol in their blood system.
After 2 of them?
Yeah, so they took two of them and then got them to drink 2 glasses of wine, and they had 70% less alcohol in their blood system than the group who didn't take the pill. So it was claiming that you only need 1 pill. So, I don't know, if 2 pills reduced it by 70% after 2 glasses of wine, if that person had 8 glasses of wine, or a bottle of wine, probably is only 8 glasses of wine in a bottle.
I don't think there's 8, is there?
I wouldn't imagine so, no. I've shared bottles of wine with people. Obviously, we mightn't have been measuring them out, like, properly or anything like that. But, yeah, like, I would have been surprised if we got 4 glasses each out of it.
Yeah, I don't think you get that much wine out of a bottle.
Yeah, so, like, I guess if you had, like, I wonder how would it work? Would it just decrease where it was, like, 70% in your blood? But then, if it does stop, like, it basically going into your liver and staying in your blood system, if you wanted to be able to drive the next day, for instance, and it reduces men's blood, at least then you can wake up at a slightly earlier time and be able to drive. Because, you know, like, after Paddy's Day, and you wake up and you're trying to do the mental calculations of how much you've drank to, like, what time you're under the limit at.
Yeah.
And, you're not really too sure, like, if you should be actually on the road, and you're still contemplating this as you drive down, seeing if there's any guards coming. So you can't buy this, like, in the shops. Apparently you have to buy it offline, which made me a little bit more skeptical. So, like, obviously it's been approved, but just because it's approved, I don't know, does it have to necessarily work for it to be approved?
I think it does.
Alright, so you can't sell it if there isn't actually science behind it to back it up.
Not that I know of, but yeah, you never know.
I wonder, because
I think that's why they put those stupid things on it, you know, where it's like 99.9% effective.
Yeah, but, like, if they say, like, one of the things is, like, it can stop you from getting a hangover, and then they have in small writing, this only works, like, 60% of the time, every time, kind of a thing. It kind
Yeah.
of like it's not really as effective as they're marketing it to be, but it can help.
We're lying about it.
We're lying about it. We're lying to your face. Anyway, if you want to buy it, you have to go online. You have to type in Miracle. So it's MYRKL. Is how they spell it. It's a Swedish company now. So like, I don't know if it is out here. I don't know if it's approved to be out here. And it is approved. And imagine if it is a Swedish company, it's probably approved by the EU. So we might be able to get it, and you might be able to check it out. I think if it reduces the amount of alcohol in your blood the next day, just for the whole thing of can I drive on the road? I know just because you take one of these doesn't mean you can still drive. If you have like 12 pints, 3 shots of Jaeger, you probably should stay off the road the next day, kind of the thing. But like, if it does, and you're kind of like you've had your 8 hours sleep, and you're kind of like, it would be roughly about 8 hours before I was laid back on the road. I had a milk thistle or whatever it's called, miracle pill. So at 2, so that reduced it by a certain amount. Might have pushed me over the ledge, but yeah, I don't think you can take it either after the next day. So if you wake up and you're like, oh, I probably should take it, I'll take it now. It doesn't really work. You have to take it before you start drinking. As well.
Remember there used to be pills like that before.
Yeah, I think that's probably the pill I'm thinking of, the milk thistle thing. But I don't know.
I can't remember what they were called. Something mate.
Yeah, but yeah, I remember someone said like they had an alcoholic friend. It's like that's the thing what saved them was that pill, because it was probably the only thing protecting their liver. So like I had heard about a pill that protects your liver. And this is so it could be this mightn't be a new thing. This might be only getting approved by the EU or the UK now. Did you have any like cures that you were like for years where like this is how I get over a hangover?
I used to always go to Eddie Rockets.
Oh, salty food.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to. What I do now is I try to wake up early in the morning. So I try to wake up kind of 6 o'clock-ish. Or whenever kind of I wake up, I will like drink some water and then take like some painkiller and go back to sleep. And usually I wake up, the painkiller has kicked in, and I don't have a hangover anymore. I'm usually all right then, not too bad. And then if it's a really bad one, it's kind of lingering in the background, I might like have some salty food. I usually put a bit of salt, lemon, water, and it's kind of like hydrates you. Basically drink salt water to hydrate myself. And yeah, that's my trick. Would you be running out to the shops now? Would you be going on to the Google now and Google Miracle in order to get these pills, or would you be kind of like, fuck this?
I'd be like, fuck this.
I'll deal with it the proper way by ignoring it.
Like a man.
Like I do to my kids and my wife. Ignore it. Ignore everything that's important and that you should probably pay attention to.
Ignore everything.
And it'll soon go away.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
Yeah, so like, I think it might be a little bit gimmicky. The fact though, I don't know why. I think if I was in the shops, I would thought, oh well, the shops believe in this product.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do that. They're like, oh, like this is what like it's kind of been sold in a like reputable shop, so it must be a real thing that really works.
Yeah, well, it is like it's sold in a reputable shop, so it must be a reputable product. There's a lot of bullshit products out there that are sold in shops as well, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking crap.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting anyway. In the whole thing. What time do we have on our podcast? Are we running short? We have 10 minutes.
We have 10 minutes.
What can we talk about in 10 minutes?
Go on, give us some
Give us
random subject. Come on.
random subject. The price of living again.
Yeah.
10 minutes to discuss the price of living. Apparently, the Brits are being told to like not have your dinner at the same time as what you imagine your neighbours are having your dinner at, to avoid blackouts. So this is like we were talking about this off air. They're like, I was like, is it more expensive to at certain times to like use certain products? And you're like, yeah. So like, TD was told, stick on your washing at 3:00 in the morning because it's cheaper.
Yeah, like it's that I seen this thing where they're like, yeah, like obviously it costs more at certain times of the day to run your wash machine and stuff, and they were saying that you should do it like in the middle of the night. And then like Dublin Fire Brigade were like, you should not do that because, you know, if there's a fire, like you die.
Yeah, like I think there's been a lot of stupid kind of suggestions about like how to save money. We've talked about the Green Minister saying drive slower. We're also taking a pay hike.
They're all saying like, you know, oh, like take public transport. That only works when a bus shows up.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like, there was a minister who was just like, he was trying to point to like a lobby group, a car lobby group, who've been years trying to like disenfranchise people from taking public transport, and it's like, no, the service has been shocking and unreliable.
Yeah, that's the real fucking problem.
Like, you're waiting in the freezing cold for a bus that is not going to arrive, and you check to see where's that bus, and there's nothing up. There's no ups to say, oh, sorry, the bus is broken down on the M7. We ran out of duct tape, so it's now pissing out oil everywhere. Soz.
Soz, hun.
Yeah, soz, hun. Like it isn't in Ireland. It isn't that like there needs to be a lobby group to make people want to drive a car into when they're instead of getting public transport. It's just the shocking unreliability of public transport, and the fact that there's off-peak times, fuck all buses or fuck all trains.
Yeah, like there's trains, at least they're a bit more reliable.
You would imagine they would be. I know people get them on a regular basis, and they're not really. They're a little bit more reliable, but they don't run at non-peak times. Like there's no like night train or at like that. So like if you're trying to get out of town to places that normally you would use trains, where a lot of people use trains to get there, there's no kind of night service for you. So if you're working in town late at night, you can't get home from certain places at all. Like, it's very, very hard. Whereas around Europe, there's like trams that work throughout the night because they go underground and they don't disturb residents. And there's public transport that runs throughout the night.
Yeah, I think though, like with train, there'd definitely be too much fuck acting on trains in the middle of the night. Like, there's too much fuck acting as it is.
Oh, man, like the thing I'd be kind of nervous of if a train ran at night, like if you fall asleep on a bus, like you fall asleep on a night rider, like from Nace, which I've done many times. You wake up in Newbridge, the train driver sometimes will drop you back to Nace, if you don't get off the bus. However, if you like fall asleep on a train that's going to Galway, and one of the stops like Kildare town where you might live, oh, you've a fucking hell of a commute back there, because that train might be parked up. That train might be parked up in Galway and be going back down in the morning. There's a train station in Galway where trains park at night and go to sleep.
It's not Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah, I don't take the train. Imagine this is what Thomas Tank Engine is based on Fat Ken.
Trains go to sleep. Night train.
Night train. He see it close his eyes. Yeah, so like I could see why like certain trains run at night. Like you'd nearly have to have a person going around and wake people up going, when you getting off.
Like, not even that. Like, look at train stations during the day. You've got young lads fucking throwing young ones onto the train tracks and shit.
Yeah.
Like, now imagine that at night time when there's like nobody around.
But does that happen in Europe? Like, is there a culture of women getting fucked under trains, Ken, in Europe?
Don't know.
See, youths, this is why we can't have nice things. It's because of yous.
There's definitely a culture of fucking fuckactory in Ireland.
Yeah, so that's why our public transport sucks. It isn't because of the transport minister lack of investment into our transport infrastructure. It's because of you youths throwing young ones onto the train tracks, which apparently happens a lot. The fact that we can't have a train going from Galway to Dublin at 3:00 in the morning for some reason. The other thing is, like, it's too slow. So, like, have you ever had to get to Lewis from, like, the Red Cow?
No.
There's about 6 million stops between you, from where you want to go to where you have to go. It's so much slower than even getting a bus at times. Only like benefit of it is regular. So there's one every 10 minutes. So if you miss, if you arrive to the Lewis, you're guaranteed to get like a tram within 10 minutes, which is good. But like there's 1,000,001 stops. And it's just like, I was in Hungary the other day. Oh, no, the other day. I go over regularly now. I was in Hungary on my holidays a few months ago. And the underground system has fast trains that don't stop at every stop and have ones that stop at every stop. And so, like, if we had the underground system, we could have that system. We could have the top system in case you just want to go down the road and don't want to walk. Or we can have one that goes directly to where you want to go, where most people want to go.
Like that's another problem that we have. I remember there's like obviously train or buses aren't as regular anymore, but like when Bus Éireann was running like the buses and they were fairly okay. People still gave out about them, but they were fairly like okay. It might be a little bit late, like 10-15 minutes late, but it's going to show up. Like I remember there was buses that would go from Edenderry to Dublin. There was two types. There was like the 120 and there was like the 120X or the 120S or something. And the S didn't stop at every stop. Right, so like it'd get you there quicker. It had maybe like 3 stops along the way.
Oh yeah, the Express. Yeah, they used to. I think they used to have the 126 Express, and they just didn't go to Kill. They used to go, yeah.
But the problem that you would get with it is that people get on the bus and they're like, "Oh, this is going the direction I'm going," and then they keep like going to the bus driver and going, "Will you stop here?"
Oh, and bus driver be like, okay.
And then the bus driver's like, "Okay."
I'm getting paid either way.
Yeah, like,
yeah, like, and then you have people going, "Oh, the X has stopped. I'll get on it."
Yeah, like, and then it's like, "Oh, here, fuck off."
Yeah. Anyway, that was our 10 minutes up. Ken, we made it to the hour mark. Hopefully, the cost of living really saves our ass there. That's our 2 cents on the cost of living. English, just like, don't have dinner, intermittent fast, only have breakfast, have that sustain you throughout the day, and then you'll go to bed hungry, but you'll have more money in your pockets, and you'll think to yourself, why did we ever leave the EU? And the answer is no, you can't get back in.
Mark is vetoed.
Yeah, vetoed. Ireland vetoed, because that's getting you not like support from every country in the EU to say, yeah, we'll let them back in. And say Ireland says no. You have something that belongs to us, and we want it back. And not Northern Ireland. You know all. You can have that mess. Anyway, we'll be back next week. On that note, we should probably end. Ken is all right left. Good luck. Bye.
He kind of broke up there. It's like, on that note.
Ken was like, oh yeah, I better put on the kettle.
Like, on that note, what?
Better leave the show. Ken has clearly his internet failing. Goodbye. No.